Welcome, Isabel Chen of Fairy Fox Digital, content strategist, to the Heartfelt Business Path Chats today. Today, we're going to dive into your story and probably connect a bit on where our paths really cross in serving, people the way we do. So, to get us started, can you tell us a little of your story to now?
Yes, sure, Jess. And thanks for having me on this podcast as well. So I won't go all the way back, but basically I started out as a scientist. So I came to Australia to study science and I was specializing in biotechnology, which is a totally different field to where I'm at now. But because science wasn't the most, I would say it wasn't the most regular work because a lot of it depends on funding. So in 2019, my dad actually started out an e-commerce store and he was getting me to help set up websites, run their social media and all that. And I thought, oh, okay, this is actually something interesting because it let me be creative compared to a science job where everything's really routine. There's fixed protocols to follow, there's fixed things you're doing every day. So it gets kind of boring, especially if you've been doing it for about 5 years, which at that point that was how long I had been in that field. And then I thought, maybe I'll see where this marketing would take me. So I went to TAFE. I did a diploma in social media marketing. And then at the end of that, 2020, I quit my science job, which coincidentally they had run out of funding as well.
Mhm.
So it was just a coincidence that I was leaving at the same time where they didn't have work for me. And then that's how I ended up in marketing in COVID, which I would say was the best time to enter digital marketing because that was when it really took off because everyone had to stay home. And in the marketing job that I got, it was the first time they had to move everything online. So
Mm.
suddenly I was being asked to do like what they should write emails, how they should use Facebook to speak to their members, and a lot of stuff that I had only just learned from my diploma and had no real world experience in. So there was a lot of so looking up YouTube to figure out what to do, and then talking to the one other person on my team who doesn't know anything about marketing. She was a videographer. Then we had to work it out ourselves, and yeah, a lot of googling basically, which
In
I'm
the
sure happened to you as well because we had this discussion before.
Well, I started before there was no diploma at TAFE. I was
Mm,
16 years ago now. There was no way to learn. But no, you didn't really Google either because there was nowhere to learn from. There was no YouTubes, there was no answers. You just had to practice makes progress. Like you just had to try, and if it didn't work, you
mm-hmm.
didn't do that again. If it worked, you went, well, I'm doubling down on that. So, and that was a really long time. And the first bit of like editorial information we got was one Social Media Examiner started, and they
Mm.
started with a newsletter. And that was like a godsend. I just thought, wow, this is a game changer to actually have this to affirm a little bit of what I'm doing. So, no, it wasn't Googling, but yes, completely self-taught. I think so many people are because I think the reality of this industry is you can go to TAFE all you want, you can learn it in theory all you want, but it's about application at the coalface. It's about actually the nuance of any, one piece of content or one campaign or strategy you adopt is not completely formulaic. It's not completely one size fits all. It's always so nuanced for the individual client or their industry or the season. As you said, COVID was huge
Mm.
because people were suddenly having to sell online. And the people that were already strong online did well, but the ones that weren't were really rapidly having to wrangle to keep up. I
And
wanted
I
to,
can tell you,
sorry, you go.
can I add something? I can tell you something about Dave Diploma. Everything I learned is now outdated because social media changes so fast and the
Yes.
marketing online changes so fast.
Yes, I think that's the other thing about courses. I always thought, why don't they get actual social media people in to teach these? Because they can't be teaching current stuff,
Yeah.
because literally a day can change in social media land, as anyone who knows, and it's exhausting actually when you're the ones running it, and very hard to explain the value of that constant pivoting you're doing in strategy to people. But yes, yeah, 100%. I just wanted to go back. I mean, you're obviously very creative. So what? what led you into science then to begin with? Because to be honest, they're not sort of super aligned industries, not typically
No,
in
no, no.
my experience. You're going to argue that?
Yes, I'm going to argue.
Good, good.
Look, this podcast doesn't have video, does it?
Say again.
Does this podcast have video? Or
Yes.
just going to be audio? Oh, it's going to be video. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm Asian. I'm from Singapore.
Yeah.
Everyone in Singapore studies science. Nobody goes into the arts. So even if you're creative, you're pushed to go into what we call STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, mathematics. And you just do that. And once you graduate with a degree in that, then you can pursue your other interests. So that's why I got into science. But actually, I'll go back a bit. So I actually studied to be a vet nurse initially. Like my initial childhood dream was to be a vet. And I did another diploma. Well, this was before the TAFE diploma, but I did do a diploma in vet nursing. And then we had placements at the end of that. And in my placement in a vet clinic, I was helping the vet to hold a dog or a cat or something, some other animal. I can't remember what now. And I just broke out into I had teary eyes and I was sneezing. And that's when I found out I was allergic to something at the vet clinic. But throughout the 3 years of the course, I was allergic. I wasn't allergic to anything. And I worked with mice, rats, cats, dogs, no allergies until I started placement. And then
And it's
that
just,
led me to broaden out into biotechnology instead, because I realized I was going to struggle being a vet.
mhm. Which I imagine must have been sad for you because I know from being Insta friends you love your cat and
Yeah.
you were very devoted to to your cat.
And to this day, I still don't know what I was allergic to because I can
Mm.
work with animals and I can bring my cats to the vet and I'm not allergic to anything.
Wow.
So don't
Well, you
know.
obviously were meant to go a different direction.
Yeah.
And then in the biotech space, what were you kind of focusing on or specializing in?
So I did biochemistry. So that's like chemical reactions that happen in an organism. So say, for example, if I think one of the examples we studied was glycogen and glucose. So
Hmm.
glucose pathways, how organisms get energy. So that's what I studied. But then the job I got immediately after graduation was an agriculture job
Hmm.
where I was focused on doing PCRs. Now everyone knows that after COVID. So doing PCRs to detect DNA
What's a
in
PCR?
PCR.
What's that?
You know that thing you do for COVID to test whether you've got COVID?
Oh,
You do a
yes.
PCR test.
Yes.
So it's trying to amplify small amounts of DNA to see where it's from.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I was doing that for Department of Primary Industries. I was working with fruit flies, which in South Australia,
Mm.
there is a huge fruit fly no-go zone. What do you call it? Fruit fly restrictions. We can't bring fruit into South Australia. So that was
Hmm.
why I was working in, but I specialized in doing the PCRs to detect that. There's a whole bunch of other technical info in there, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into that.
And then what? So what made you go, I've had enough of this?
Oh, it was funding issues because every
Oh,
year there wasn't enough project funding.
yeah, okay.
So so the contracts in science are always temporary. So it's always like for 3 months. Usually the longest is 3 months or 6 months. Then every 3 months you've got to go back to the supervisor and ask, do we have project funding to go on or do I have to find another job?
Mm.
And then I did that. That was how it went on for 5 years. So every three
Yeah.
months I was asking them
Okay,
whether I
yeah.
had a job. So then I thought I wanted something that's more stable. That was the word I was looking for, more stable. At least give me a job for a year,
Mm.
right? So that I don't have to ask you every 3 months whether I have a job.
Mm.
And I saw marketing as their route out of science that was more stable.
Mm.
And then because I had worked with my dad on the website and the marketing sort of stuff, I thought that was
You'd
quite
enjoyed it. Yeah.
enjoyable. And yeah, I'll just study that then.
Yeah. So then tell us, why did you start Fairy Fox Digital?
Um, didn't start it intentionally, but it was because at TAFE, I asked the lecturer if there was anyone who was looking for someone to help them in marketing. And then I was put in touch with this girl who ran an e-commerce business. And when I got my first marketing job, I was still helping her with marketing. So then I asked her if she could pay me for the hours that I was working with her. And that was how I figured out I had to get an ABN and stuff, and then sort of like the tech stuff. And I thought, okay, I'll just give myself a business name and do all the business side of things, make sure you do it right so that I can get paid properly and follow all legal compliances that I need to. And you've asked me this before, but I chose the name Fairy Fox because I still do. I play a lot of computer games, like multiplayer online games, and that was my username most of the time. And it's based off the Firefox browser, but unfortunately, Firefox was taken.
Mm. Yes. Fairy Fox is kind of cuter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyway,
And
it's kind of nice.
I've got a cute little fox in my logo as well. I made them
Yeah,
do
yeah.
it like a little fox with wings.
And so tell us a little bit about what it does and who you help.
Yep. So I've had a lot of pivots during the 3 years I've been running this full time. But now I mainly work with established business owners who they create content consistently. They might have a blog, a podcast, a YouTube channel, a newsletter that's going out, but then they're struggling to turn that one idea into pieces of content that they can just share to social media and reach a bigger audience. Or maybe they already been on live for a while. So most of the clients come in through, like posting regularly, creating content, putting it out there, but they're always starting from scratch. When you start repurposing content that you already have, that's how you can save yourself time. So that's what I specialize in. Content repurposing services. That's what I specialize in.
So can you just dive into that a bit more for people, like what that actually is? Because it's not social media management retainer work, is it? It's different.
Most of my clients are retainers, the ones that I'm helping with content repurposing, but it's only because they are putting out regular YouTubes or podcasts. So I would say I'll break this down in a simple way. There's two arms to this business. So the first is the content repurposing retainers, which is for people who already have a YouTube channel that maybe they have monetized, maybe some of their income comes through YouTube, so they know they have to keep putting out YouTube videos regularly. They might have a podcast that goes along with that. And then they might have a team, like say they have a video editor or a VA that's helping them with a bit of the task, like they're doing like uploading the videos, editing the videos. But they don't have enough time to do it themselves anymore. They don't have enough time to manage the team anymore, or to tell the video editor, these are some graphics I want you to put at these time points in the video to make it more engaging. And then sometimes what they do is also, because they're juggling so many things, they're juggling like their business, they might have an online course that they're trying to refine, but they just don't have time because they're managing the team. That's where I come in as their content manager to manage the truckloads of content that is going out, by helping them with the copywriting, which takes up a lot of time. Because I had a client, she was using AI to help her repurpose the content, which was great. But then she told me she found she's still correcting like little bits in it that don't sound like her. And it was taking out her time. And she couldn't get the VA to help with that because the VA didn't understand content strategy.
Her tone or her tone.
Yeah, or her tone, yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's why she got me to do it instead. So then I'm delegating the video task to a video editor, but then I'm also helping her to make sure all her captions are written in her tone of voice. There's some strategy behind it. You can't just dump like a talking video onto LinkedIn and have it exactly the same way. LinkedIn is actually more your hook in the written caption that captures attention rather than the video compared to Instagram, right? So there's like all these little strategic tweaks that we make to content if we are putting it on different platforms. And that is the content repurposing side of things that I help established business owners with. So strategy, repurposing, managing their team, managing their content.
And for people that are rolling out a lot of content already themselves.
Yes. They just don't have time to do it themselves anymore.
Yes.
It's just got to a point where it's too much content.
Yeah. And what's the other side?
Yes. So the other side is they are usually solopreneurs. It kind of goes back to the same thing. They're juggling too much by themselves. But maybe they're solopreneurs at an earlier stage of business. So without YouTube or podcast yet, but they're writing newsletters or they're writing blogs. And then they need someone strategic so that they can have someone else to bounce ideas off because they're putting out content consistently, but maybe they don't know how it's performing because they haven't got an idea of like how to interpret the numbers that social media is giving them, which is where my science background comes in because I was doing a lot of that in my science job. And then they might get some numbers where they see, okay, there's this number of views, there's this number of comments, but what does this mean? And what do I get out of this? And how can I improve my content? Because I don't actually know what all of it means. And how do I, put this in my content so it performs better? So they're looking to create content that performs better so that they get bigger results from their content. So they want to maybe direct people to an offer, but that is not happening, but they're getting comments on the post. And they're like, how do I get people to take further action beyond that?
Yeah. And I think, yeah, and you like, I can see also what you really are is, that's that science brain too. You're a pattern recognizer, you have pattern recognition, and you're able then to apply that in which ultimately content strategy
it's about
is pattern
it's about pattern recognition.
Yeah. And people don't really talk about it like that. They don't, again, content is so talked about in like light click and post ways. It's not talked about enough yet as the deep strategic work it actually is. And that it's not just this end result product. It's actually all that deep strategic work you've done to get to that end result.
And I would add to that, sometimes content that looks pretty doesn't necessarily give you anything in return.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Because it's not strategic.
Often it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's right. So like what really drives you? Like why content strategy exactly? Outside of that, obviously natural pattern recognition, what's your deep drive
I just want people to get results. Basically. Well, okay, when I first started out, I was helping people with their social media content. But then I realized if there's no strategy behind what they're doing, they don't see any return from it. And then that's when they would drop me because they don't see any return from it. And I just got so I guess I just like want them to get results. I'm someone who is driven by fixing stuff. I'm a fixer kind of person. So if I see a problem, I want to fix it. So I see they're not getting a return, I want to fix it. So that's when I'll put forward, I say we need a content strategy because this will resolve all these problems and it will direct us in what to create, what kind of content works for you, what we're going to promote in this quarter of the year, and just help you plan your content more easily, better, gives in a way that gives you results.
So what do you say to people when they're going, I need to know what the value of this is?
Oh,
what's the ROI?
Now I don't actually have like I can say that in terms of the results that my current clients have gotten, but I'm trying to think what I did say to people when I first started out. Because that's always the problem, right? Because when you start out, you haven't got anything. I don't know. I guess now I say like my clients have seen results like tripling their reach, but it's not just reaching anyone. We can tell that they are the right fit kind of clients because they are getting more sales calls and it's turning into paying customers. Or like say they get a lot of views on a video. There's one last year, she got 10,000 views on the videos and she did see an increase in the amount of donations coming through for a nonprofit. And then there's people there was one client who she was putting out more content. I think it increased by 36%, like her reach increased by 36%, but then she increased her revenue by 77%. So there was a correlation. So now like I can see a correlation between the social media results and something that they want in their business because now it's like more based, how I help them, it's more based on their business goals rather than vanity, what we call vanity metrics with the likes, comments, shares. So if we're reaching their business goals, I tell them we won't really focus too much on vanity metrics. Like you could be getting a very low number of views, but are they turning into clients? If it's yes, that's what we want anyway.
Yeah. 100%. We do the same.
I think it took me a while to get to that stage where I can confidently tell them low views doesn't mean it's not working.
No. I think again that's an issue in the space that a certain model of success is sold in our space that is about vanity metrics, and no matter how much it's changed, I mean, this year more than ever, our vanity metrics absolutely irrelevant as we're entering the age of, social media SEO and
Yeah.
and AI generated search. But the fact is, business will still attach to those because that's what they think success looks like, that it's
Mm.
high follower counts. And yes, I agree. I speak to people all the time about, it doesn't matter how many likes there are on that post. What I'm more interested in, how many views, how many, perhaps even potential actions are taken on it. And let's look at the bigger picture. Is it hitting the goals that we've set for this feed? And therefore, is it ultimately moving the needle at the end, which it is? Does it have a broader impact at the end?
Yeah.
It isn't a I think the other issue is it's not the quick fix it's sold as. And that is where people get, questioning about it as well. And so even though you say when you first started managing them, people couldn't see results, there probably were results starting to happen. But it's just that it's such a long-term commitment to really truly see those results. I think, like, I've observed it for a long time and I've seen it over and over again. It's not an overnight thing. Yes, you
Yeah.
occasionally get a piece of viral content. Yes, you occasionally get a great success story from one thing, but doesn't tend to be standard. It's more cumulative and compounding work. Keep doing it, keep being consistent, keep listening to what your people want to hear from you and giving them more. And that's where you see results, but over time. Yeah. I think that's cool that you're a fixer though. And I resonate with that because I would definitely be the same. Like, I want to help them get that because I can get it
Yes.
done. I know I get it and I can get it done. And I'd like to just help them get the results they want from it and present the way they would like to present, or present the way they would like to be seen. It is, I think, a big part of that. The industry is that. So now, this is something you do for others, but can you
Yeah.
give us a little insight? What are your biggest challenges in telling your story?
My biggest challenge, to be honest, is that sometimes the way I share my story, because I know so much, right? Sometimes I share my story in a way that sounds, I don't really use jargon, but I guess sometimes I use words that maybe people who aren't really familiar with marketing understand. Like, say, for an example, it's the marketing funnel. Because some business owners might not use that word. They just know that, people aren't following them or people aren't engaged. People, even the word engagement, sometimes they don't use that word. They say, why aren't people commenting? Why
Mm,
aren't people sharing?
mm,
Right. And that's like the biggest thing that I had to figure out was, how do I communicate in a way that my ideal client understands, but it still doesn't diminish what I know. Like, they can see me as an expert, but they can actually understand what I'm trying to tell them, like why the content isn't working.
mm.
That's the biggest challenge I face in my
And what
whole
did you
3 years.
do? What did you do to overcome
You
that
know
challenge?
what? You know what really helped me with that was getting on calls with existing clients and then asking them this exact question and then hearing it in their words and then
Mm,
using their words in my marketing.
yeah, that's awesome advice, I
Yeah.
think. That is so true. I think talking to your current clients, especially if you have warm, engaged relationships, is one of the most undervalued resources for market research. That
Yeah.
I'm actually about to change the name of my membership based on
Oh,
exactly that,
okay.
because I've had and my membership's called the Heartfelt Story Circle, and it needed to start where it started, and I don't
Yeah.
I don't have any regret about that, but I'm ready for its evolution now. And it's because exactly that I've been keep hearing little things from my clients about the name, not necessarily big, like, not like coming all out, just little things, and I've just pieced it all together. So I think, yeah, and just going to them, asking those questions can be such a powerful, task, or even just asking in a story on your
Mm.
with of your audience can be powerful too. But I think with the clients you connect with, even more so. Yeah, I love that. And I think that's the story that a lot of people don't, you haven't come to your language through some guru
Yeah.
methodology. You've come to it just by listening and adjusting and adapting and representing. And I think that's the story of any business that sustains itself for the long haul, is that's actually the business. It's not this
Yeah.
overnight success vanity sort of story. It's this story of, just continuing to take the next step and adapting.
Yeah.
What about in actually showing up online? Did you ever have any stuff that came up there?
Sorry, my cat.
You try to
My cat wants attention. Any stuff that came out online
about you showing up online, about you being,
about me showing up.
showing up,
I
being on the platforms for your business.
I was forced into it. Okay. Okay. Basically, when I had my marketing job still,
Mm,
we're trying to create more video content because we saw that it performed well for our brand.
mhm,
And so I had this role of going around in the office to do like a staff showcase kind of series, but no one wanted to do it.
mhm,
So in the end, I was telling like my team member, and then she said, "Why don't you be the first to start? Then people will follow." So
mm.
then I became sort of like the face of their social media. So that's how I say I was forced into it. The first couple of videos were very awkward. I got better over time. And then I guess because I had done that for my job, so when I quit to run this business full time, I was used to being on camera already because I represented that company on their social media. So then I
Mm,
represented myself on my own business, like my own business page. Because my business is just me at the moment. So obviously I'm the face of the brand and I
mm.
have to be there. And people, and most of my clients, when I asked them, why did you choose to work with me? It was because they said it's because they like my energy, so
Mhm.
they connected with something that was on the videos that I was putting out.
Oh, look, I think that that's what it's about. It's about your
Yeah.
unique energy. And that is whether we realize that's what we're taking on board or not, that is how we connect, even via a device,
Mm.
even via a social media platform. I think that's the most, I mean, your words are important, of course, and the consistency of tone and message and whatever, of course, but ultimately it's your energy that people are attracted to. And so, when people do own businesses and they're not showing up,
Mm.
that's like, so, and I understand because it's very vulnerable work, but it is a necessary part of your job to show your face and to transmit some of your unique energy, for the viewer, because that's ultimately what's going to like help them make the ultimate choice.
Yeah. And
That's for
especially
sure.
now with AI, if I don't see a face on your social media feed, I don't know if you're real or
Yeah, I
you're
so
AI
agree.
generated. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And also, yeah, I always say people buy from people. It's the way humanity's been since we began. It's the way we'll be until we end. I mean, I hope we don't end, but it is the way it'll always be. It's just, and so we have these little blips in it. And I
Mm.
think we've had that this year, and you would have seen it like me. Like I feel like the first 6 months of this year, there's never been more AI than there has been in the first
Mm.
months. And the
Yeah.
first half of the year was all copy, AI copy. And I feel like the second half of the year is all AI graphics.
Posters. Yes.
Yes, with like 50 million things on the poster, which anyone who's a creative
Oh
finds
gosh.
really annoying.
It's too much information on those
Yeah,
posters. It's not designed well.
we all understand that no one can actually read that. You can't read
Yeah.
it. It's complete overload for your brain. But I think it'll come back because I've already seen the copy start to come back. There's less AI copy. People are going back to just writing for themselves, or they go to
Mm.
AI and they go, I just didn't like it. So it gave me an idea, but then I brought it back. I think all that sort of will happen more and more. So we will buy from humans. So our energy is so important. So I love that. Thank you. So th my approach is holistic. So you've been a guest on the Heartfelt Story Circle. So you saw that we do a bit of visualization and a bit of
Yeah.
tarot, as well as very practical strategic stuff. And that's the whole point, that we can embed the strategy by having a more holistic approach. Um, so my question is, where does your intuition nudge you, and where do you perhaps use it in your business?
See, this was a hard question. I know you gave me the sheet to prepare. This was the one that I looked at and I was thinking I don't actually know how to answer that because I guess I just do. I don't think before I do. I try not to overthink before I do something. I just do it.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever I think is the right path or the right way out, I was like, I'll just do it and see what happens,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll decide if I want to do more of it. So I'm more of a, I'll do it. That's what happens. Okay, if I don't do it, I might regret not doing it. So I
Mm-hmm.
always do before I think. I don't
I
know
think
if
that
that answers the question.
yeah, I was going to say, I think that is that's your inner compass or your gut feel
Yeah,
or your intuition, whatever you want to call it, sort of driving you then, isn't it? And maybe you've learned
yeah.
to listen to it. But do you use tools? You use tools to support you, intuitive
I
tools.
use affirmation cards. That's only a really
Yeah.
one of the things I use. And then what else do I use? I tried breathing. It's not for me.
You tried what, sorry?
Breathing, like I think you did it at your
Oh, breathing
circle
techniques.
thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Because I've got too many thoughts in my head. So I find when I'm breathing, I'm still thinking.
yes, yeah.
But affirmation cards work for me. And then maybe doing I've got a I've got a little screen capture of a picture that I saw online where it said the Lulu is the Salulu. And I'll just screenshot that. I'll screenshot a lot of funny things like that. Or I have another one that says the universe is my sugar daddy. And I'll screenshot that. I'll save it in a folder. So when I'm feeling a little bit like, oh, I want to burn this business down, I'll go and look at all these images to
Hmm.
remind myself
Yeah.
everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the business is a bit like that. It's like a bit up and down. You have highs, you have lows, and then you have very slow months, and then you have months where it's like everything's coming at you.
Yeah.
I think we just need to remind ourselves that it's never a linear path.
100%. Yeah, I love that. I think that's again another message that's perhaps not clear enough, because success stories still dominate
Yeah.
everything. It's like I
But
actually did.
I always say if you don't try, you don't know whether you'll succeed. So you might as well just do it.
Mhm.
Like I'd rather do something and regret it than not do it and then regret it.
Yeah. But that's you. That's your unique
Yeah.
chemistry that helps you do. Some people couldn't do that because it just wouldn't be in them to be able to push through or try. Some people are good at just leaning in and having a
Mm,
crack and listening to their gut, and others, their head will dominate the show more. So it's so individual. But I think it's really important to remember that it isn't a linear path and that it is really up and down. And I did a post this morning actually, just literally because we're having a pretty rough ride this year at Feld, where
mm,
we're having a down spiral after a
yeah.
kind of great year last year where I thought we were, and this is I've been in business for a while and I thought, oh, we're on our
Yeah.
2026, we are going to kill it. And no, that is not what has happened. But I think what the really important thing to remember in that is just to remember that no matter what happens, keep telling your story, keep showing up because you need to still be top of mind. You need to still be here because when consumer confidence comes back and business comes
Mm,
back, well, then there you are. You're top of mind. It's clear who you are, who you're for, what you do, and how you do it. Um, and I think, yeah, that's a really important message. But I think that linear side of things is
mm.
still sometimes the narrative that dominates, that business success is this sort of curve where you're exactly right, it's a peaks and
Yeah.
troughs experience. And
It's like the stock market. It goes up
yeah,
and then it goes down, and it goes up and then it goes down.
100%.
But overall, over a very long time, you can see it's going up. So it's the same in business.
100%. And if you buy stocks and hold on to them for 20 or 30 years, you're going
Yeah.
to be in a really good position. But if you were constantly selling them through that period, you're probably not going to be. So buying and selling them. So yeah, thank you. So just to wrap up, can you tell us how people can work with you and where they can find you?
Okay, so you can find me. I'm mostly on Instagram at Fairy Fox Digital. I will send you a link so that people spell it right. So it's fairy as in fantasy, fairy, pixie kind of creature, and then Fox Digital, one word. I'm also on LinkedIn, but it's under my name, Isabel Chen. So maybe you cannot find me. I'll send you the link as well. And then I'm on YouTube. I just started YouTube this year, and it's been a real lesson because I was so used to doing 30-second short form content that now when I have unlimited amount of time to speak, I find I ramble a lot. So for YouTube, I'm just like, because I've got to the point where I guess I want to go more in depth in topics, and
Mm.
YouTube is where I can do that. And then
Hmm.
what I'm actually doing is for my YouTube videos, I've been repurposing them into blogs that live on my website as well. And then I found that I can repurpose little bits of the videos for my social media content. So then
Hmm.
it kind of takes like the constant like where I constantly have to think, okay, I have to create something. No, now
Mm.
I have this long form video that I can pull from.
Mm.
Yeah, so
And do
that's
you
my
just
strategy for this year.
transcribe it and take it from there?
Yes, yes. So I create the YouTube video first, and then
Mhm.
I transcribe it. Then I've got the transcript, and I run it through. I've got this system that I set up in Claude that helps me repurpose all the text into little different bits of content. So it does like a carousel for me. It does a quote post. It does some some hooks that I can test out in reels. And then
Mhm.
for the reels, what I do is I create a B-roll reel, which is basically a video, like a 7-second video clip of me doing something. There's some movement in it, and I put the text on it. And then
Mhm.
I link it to my email list. There's a lot of behind the scenes moving parts in this, but I'm just taking that one YouTube video and turning it
Yeah.
into different bits of content. That's what's happening using
And it's
AI.
informing your whole month. Is that kind of
Yeah.
how you run it? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a good way to run
Yes.
content, I think, like that. It really
Mm.
is.
And I
Yeah.
like how now I can go in depth because I'm creating I'm not restricted by the 90-second limit on
Mm.
Instagram. So I can
Mm.
really go in depth in that YouTube video.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's great. I think the more people, you talk to the Heartfelt Story Circle about the same concept, but using your newsletter, I think really. So,
Yeah.
and it's just the more that people can hear this, that content doesn't have to be this complex beast. It can be much simpler. And actually, the more you say the same thing, as I say, in different outfits, the better. We have to
Mm.
say the same thing over and over and over again. We just need to say it and present it in slightly different ways so people don't completely turn off. But the more we do, the clearer our message is, and also in an AI search world, the more easily we are found for our unique offer or product or service or
Yeah.
expertise. So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you're jumping from one topic to another,
Mm.
AI doesn't really know how to classify you.
I
So
know.
it wouldn't really show up. You wouldn't really show up in AI search.
But also, I think the irony is humans won't either. So it's like AI and humans actually both
Yeah.
looking for the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just coming from slightly different directions.
I know. I think where I first doubled down, like pitching content repurposing as my main service,
Mm.
I found that people were coming to me and they were already ready to buy because they understood what I was offering.
Mm.
Whereas when I was doing social media management, when I first started out, they would come to me, but then they say, "Oh yeah, I don't know if you can do this. Like, I
Mm.
don't know if you can come and record videos where I am." So content creation, which is
Mm.
kind of different to management because management is when you're doing all the social media scheduling and all that. So I found that just narrowing down one service, repeating that I do content repurposing. This is so presenting it from different angles. This is how I do it. This is
Mm.
what you might be doing wrong. This is like a few different ways of how I do it. These are some
Yeah.
examples of content I can create. Blah blah blah. Then they really see that I'm a expert in content repurposing. So it makes it easier for people to refer you as well. That's what I
Mm.
found because I've had
Yeah.
people come to me and say someone else referred me to you and they
Mm.
said you specialize in this.
Mm. Yeah. No, I 100% agree. It's so true. As a social media management manager who runs an agency, it is a broad beast and people
Yeah.
don't entirely understand what they get. Whereas niching into one area is more, and we do niche at Felt because we
Yeah.
create marketing that feels like you, basically. We help you see that it's okay to be you, but still, it's that broader beast still can cause some confusion. So yeah, I totally resonate with that. All right, beautiful. Thank you. Thanks for joining me today, and thanks for sharing your wisdom and for being here for this heartfelt business path chat, Isabel Chen.
Yeah. Thanks for
I'll put
having me.
all your details in the show notes.
Yeah.